I mean, it's a no-brainer, it's a no-brainer, but it's just the way that, it's worded at the end of the day. A lot of people, there's just so many groups out there, and they're pushed a little too much. I think the value of it is definitely should be, a referral mixer, um, kind of like the event that you want to go to, but online. You know what I mean? It has to be. Everyone is different, man. When you approach people, but at the end of the day, a lot of people are just resistant. They're so resistant to growth. They have a lot of limiting beliefs, and especially nowadays where it's just like a lot of people put things off, and they defeat themselves before they even start. I see it all the time, all the time. And then it's kind of like too late after, like, man, I should have went to the Deals and Heels. Man, I should have went to this. I should have went to that. I'm hearing it everywhere, and it's like, I told you so. And the same thing with PlugIntro. It's going to be the same thing where it's going to get off. It's going to just make sense for people, and at the comfort of their own home. Who else would be like, man, you just got 10 referrals. You know what I mean? Sitting in the comfort of your own home. Who doesn't want that? Like, it's.
Then I had the flood in this September, and it wiped out my basement, and I made this home office here, which wasn't here before. So now the time you're spending driving and being, and of course, I'm always going to want to do that. That's me. Right. However, how many people can you really, really positively touch when other people are sitting in traffic? Or you have the phone, and here's the kicker. You're already connected to them on a social level, whether it's I love your meal or look at this beautiful experience I'm having. I went to Central Park the other day in the boathouse. We did the rowing. I mean, that was a great day. Right. So you're I'm not doing this for publicity, but if you're sharing with people that care across the country, you have friends, then you become a little bit better known as a human. And then you know what? That gives you a chance to reach someone. And especially if you come with a gift, the gift of introductions. You wouldn't go to someone's house without a gift. So why don't you come to their digital home, whatever platform you're on, with the gift? And then they say, you know what? This guy, even when he asks for something, it's a lot better than the guy that gave me nothing and asked for something.
Yeah. Remember, our values everything. Values everything. If I give you $100 right now, or I give you something of equal value that is going to turn your business around, it happens all the time. I even show people, like, they're like, hey, you got a business card? I'm like, no, but check this out. And then I'll pop over to my Instagram, and the Instagram populates a QR code automatically. And they're like, how'd you do that? Boom. So it's like I gave them a tidbit, and they'll never forget me for that. So it's the same type of thing. And I think this is very important, because you could have a group of like-minded people sharing these valuable tidbits all across the board. It's like everybody has a superpower, and they're hoarding it, like you said, and I think it's just doing a disservice, not only for themselves, for their purpose in life. It doesn't hurt to go in a group, share these things, because there's always one person that knows. And then, like Grant Cardone says, he said it to me. That everybody's a lead, because it's not, if you don't want to work with me, or you don't need my services, but you have probably 10 people that do.
And much more than 10. So I have 850 credit, and I don't need the services. But I have how many people from the softball team, I'll tell you, the most powerful group in America is the Mother Mafia at school. If you get them on your side.
Oh, got it. That and the seniors.
That too.
Those are brand advocates to the death. I mean, I've done political campaigns for Barack. I've done some other candidates, a little bit deeper into like really nice neighborhoods. Same thing. I mean, you get the right people on deck, man, and they become advocates for life. I
had a little skirmish with one of the moms that I didn't really know, and she got an attitude. So I had to go to the president of the PTA and said, listen, I hope that's okay. I went hat in hand. The lady was about 20 years younger than me, and I had to say, listen, and you know me. And my daughters were saying, oh, man,
immediately, man,
you cannot be in the crosshairs of the Mother Mafia.
Oh, no.
So that's a perfect example. I have people that, listen, Roger's great. People are struggling, after COVID or getting laid off. But you have to use everyone, if not a lead, treat them specially and make them want to work with you.
Sure. And I always ask people, even if I just first meet them, I say, hey, man, if I could change your life and make something happen for you right now, what would that be? And they'll tell me. So I get right down to that nitty gritty why and be like, oh man, I just want to start a new business. So be like, okay, when do you have some time? Let's see if we could get on a call. You never know. And maybe they're just exploring it. Maybe this, but that one person, I've had many people come back about a year later. Hey, I'm ready. Got my LLC, got some money. Let's do it. How much for this video? You know what? I usually charge 1,500. Give me 550. Let's get you rolling. Oh man, boom, get paid. But times that by 20 people. You know what I mean? And that works with any type of industry. Just want to give those nuggets of value. And then you'll see a lot of things turn around. The trust factor, trust drives revenue, man.
It's a real turnoff. I was on my way to meet someone, and some guy called me, financial planner, and I'm telling you, he didn't even say hello, and he was pitching himself.
Oh,
and
that's the worst. Yeah.
And I, said, can we talk? And I said, I have this platform. It's free. And he goes, oh, I'm all set. I go, so what's in this for me? But I mean, a lot of people are not sophisticated enough to realize that business should be a fair exchange.
Yeah.
And maybe some months it goes your way and some months it goes my way, but it's a trust thing. In addition to picking up their phone, in addition to not feeling used. And I got to tell you, I just had no interest versus someone who did what you said. What's bothering you? What can be helped? And really for self-employed people, you've heard sales is the sales cures everything. You've heard that, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you don't have sales, but at least you have people you can speak to,
Sure.
and it's even easier. We walk around, you just reference your phone. Everyone has so many people on their phone that are on Facebook anyway. So imagine if I had to tell you, Roger, there's cell phones out there, go get one. Roger, there's a website out there with all these social media, different accounts. That would be an obstacle, but you're here already. So you're basically at the edge of the pool, just jump in.
Yep.
And that's I got to tell you, that's really not taught. We're in the individual brokerages, whether it's bank or real estate or even at events, this stuff is really not taught. There's too many kind of tips and tricks that are seen as the answer, but really just connecting meaningfully with people is the answer.
Absolutely.
That's fun.
Totally agree.
I've seen at some events, these sponsors that pay a lot of money, they get there early, they stay late, they set up, they break down, and they don't even really have much more than 30 seconds when everyone's putting their coats on. And that's not fair.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. So there's a lot of positive ways. Well, what do you see? I know you're a market observer. What do you see as far as home values and lending and the aspects that are concerning this industry? What do you think?
Yeah. Well, right now it's the times is really a lot of things have shifted on both ends, because I see it on the lending aspect of it, and even on the realtor side of it. Everything has kind of just halted. The brakes have been pumped, and the notion of people thinking that rates are going to go down is just that frame of mind is definitely something that should be reconsidered. And I try to reiterate this all the time to people, right? Because you have to look at several factors. One, you have to look at the inflation, right? Whenever inflation goes up, the rates will come up to actually thwart that, right? So the rebuttal that I'm getting, the objections is getting is, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait it out for a year and a half. But those same people that do that, it's a huge mistake, because one, they're going to print more money, and we're going to go into a recession. When you go into a recession, it's called quantitative easing, right? The country prints more money, but somebody's got to pay for that, okay? Whether through taxes and through whatever else is going to happen. But the only thing that's not going to fall is the value of the homes. Value of the homes is definitely not going to go down, right? Because here's what happened during COVID, and this is a fact. Houses have they just stopped making homes. We're about 15 to 18 million homes short of what usually would be built out for many reasons, right? When you had lockdown, right, people just couldn't be, contractors can't be together. Municipalities shut down. So, permits, zoning, anything that had to do with paperwork to build a new build was halted. So all that has been bottlenecked. So when you look at the the inventory, there's no inventory, and you and I know that when something is short, it becomes very, very valuable. It's like diamonds, right? You can't go out and just find a diamond, right? It's the same thing with a home. So the homes are just going to get exaggerated to the point of no return. Secondly, rentals, there's going to be an affordability problem. Since there's no homes, the rents are just going to go skyrocketing.
Sure, they have.
Yeah. So all in all, everything is going to continue to go up. It's not going to come down. And as far as a strategy of buying a home, you have three different type of people that are looking for. They just don't have the information. They don't understand the buying process. Those people are just, they're not even in the game, right? These are the people that I want to inform. And then you have the middle people where they're more resourceful. They're okay with buying a home that's depreciated, and it's cool buying a house that's depreciated because there's opportunity in that. You could put the value into it, and then you down the line you could refi. It would appraise for a much higher rate, and then you could win. Maybe if you say, hey, the rates are going to go down, then you refi down the line. If that happens, if not, what's 1.2 points on a mortgage term, right? You can beat it. All you got to do is do one payment, 2 payments extra. People don't understand that they can put an extra payment down, 2 payments down. They're going to defeat that interest rate and they'll shorten the term. That's one strategy. Another thing is it's going to offset it because regardless of the fact, housing is just going to go up. It's going to go up. So if you're paying a point or two, it's not a problem because either way, your home value is going to just rise every year continuously. That's just the way it goes. Then you have the other people that essentially have really, really good credit. They have a lot of money, and they're looking for those new builds. They're looking, and they're putting in offers 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 over because they can afford it. But those people are it's a 50-50 chance that you're going to buy a new build and down the line that new build be resilient, right? Hopefully it's not going to fall apart because these fix and flippers, they're also wanting to be resourceful. They're going to use cheap materials. They have a time frame, and so a lot of things could go wrong. The unforeseen is built within that home. So that's why the middleman is the one that's going to win because they're buying a home that has good bones. They know every nail, every pipe that's going into that home. It's basically a peace of mind, right? And then their value is going to go up. So you have those three different tiers that I'm trying to talk some sense into, and have a little bit of a middle ground. But the time to buy a home is now always. It doesn't matter. I mean, obviously in 2008, definitely not. But we're in a different time right now, and assuming that the rates are going to go down is preposterous. Like there's nobody knows. And let's say it does, buying a home now, it's still the right time because you can refi if you're right. If it's going to go down several points, you could refi out later out down the line. But what if it goes up? Then you're screwed, right? Then you're in hot water because now, you're rolling the dice, and now you're going to buy a home that's going to be much higher, and you're going to lose out in the long run. 30-year term, I don't see the rates going down. I don't see the value of the home ever going down because we're already in a deficit, 18 million homes. That is my 2 cents.
I think that's the wild card that if you look at I saw a chart from 2010 to 20 was the lowest based on the prior recession, was the lowest home building in 80, 90 years.
Yeah, and it's going to get worse because remember, inflation. I mean, lumber, anything that you look at is just costs more, right? So really think about that, right? So, okay, so now the materials to build a home cost more. Mm-hmm. How is that going to go down?
Plus, there's also such a consideration for everything being green that adds so many costs, which in some cases are prohibitive. I know that there was the new rules, and I think it's called 1997 in New York, or the ESG scores. If you look into that makes things I mean, I can't even imagine the cost of retrofitting these buildings that are from pre-war. So, I mean, every factor is.
Yeah, that we could get into that. That's pretty deep. So that's another thing, right? Too. What they're doing now is, you have conglomerates like BlackRock. You have, Jeff Bezos. What they're doing on the back end is that they're buying the liens on homes throughout the nation. And what they're going to do is implement. Obviously, they want to. Natural gas is going to be done. It's going to be illegal to have that in your home. So this whole green plan and everything, that's their plan. And what happens is they're going to put a lien on your home, and they'll put that fee of converting your home into your mortgage. So on top of the PMI, or if you don't have a PMI, you will
taxes, insurance,
and it would be like 30, 40 years, right, to pay for solar or whatever the clean energy is going to be. So that's another reason too to buy now, because if you buy now, you won't incur those costs, and down the line, obviously, it'll be a lot difficult to convert your home. You can have some type of different situation than you would later on. It'll cost much more because they're going to implement that across the nation. So
it is, and New York City has it. It's something that's got to be done by 20.
California too. Yeah, California too. Yeah.
Sure. So I mean, look at rents and look at co-op boards. I mean, we're in a really, really seismic change.
I called it. You can go. I've called it this morning on my post. I said, I bet you in 2 weeks. And mark my words, man. And this is a nice cut right here that you could take.
Okay, let's do it.
If I got this on the, if I hit this on the nail, man, I need to be on CNN.
Let's do it.
Second week of June, I'm pretty sure this administration will announce that we're in a full-blown recession. Okay, that's what I'm.
And they've said the opposite before now.
Yep, exactly. They're gonna go into that recession. And the way that food shortages and all that happens is because the gas prices is up, and these truckers, they can't afford, the diesel. They can't. This entire infrastructure is built on diesel, and
trucks.
Yeah,
we're talking about not into politics, but some real diversion of views in the and you're going to have more traction with places like Texas, Florida versus your Northeast, your West Coast. I mean, several Americas.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You're going to really that is really both first time, because that obviously there's 3% FHA loans and even some conforming with 3%. You want to talk at all about that with the lending sphere of, how can a first time buyer get in?
Yeah, first time home buyer, we're right now, because of the rates, we're not even seeing 3-4%. I'm just going to be honest. We're going to be like mid 5s, high 5s, even 6s in New York City. I've seen, and you have to have really, really good credit to come in on that. But once again, don't let that be the deciding factor. For me, I would even buy a house myself if I was in the high 6s. Why? Because I could make 2 extra payments and defeat that, and then or I could refi down the line, or I'm going to buy something that is depreciated with opportunity and maybe plug in $50,000, and then the equity on that home will be much more than what it would be if I buy something that's new. So there's a lot of ways that you could shuffle through that. Don't let the rates deter you. It's only going to get worse. Just by looking at the market and what's going on with gas and inflation and things of that nature. And it's just a huge red flag moving forward. And a home is the best way to protect your finances, obviously, because it's the only growing asset, and it's not depreciating over time. So owning a home is definitely something great, definitely for tax liabilities too, write-offs and things of that nature. And much rather be putting that money back in my pocket than giving it to a landlord.
Sure. Well, there's another, you mentioned landlord, you're dealing with the greatest buying force that the earth has ever seen, these millennials, and some are going to be in their 40s. So, sure. I mean, there is such a historical trend of even, of course, not getting married, not buying houses, not having joint savings accounts, not even getting driver's licenses. That's a whole thing. I mean, because they're in the urban areas, there's no need. So that's going to be a driving force. But people have to live somewhere. So,
Right.
Maybe they want the portability of a rental. Who knows?
Yeah. The times is changing. Times are changing. I mean, Airbnbs are taking off, but it's the affordability problem, and unfortunately, the working class is going to take a huge hit because for about 55% of Americans have less than $1,000 in their savings. So just imagine this wave, this recession wave is really going to crush everybody. Unfortunately, it's the saddest thing to see. But once you start really thinking about your financing, credit is by far the infantry, the first line of defense to really not to really be cognitive of just like making sure that your revolving debt is really low and start really it takes time to pay these things down, but definitely that's something to really protect yourself, because within a year or two you really can get your credit to where you need it to be. In the world, everything is dictated by credit. The only reason rich people are rich people is that they use good debt to buy assets that are cash flowing. That's the main thing to do. Okay. Once you get your credit straight and make sure that once you have that, then you can use what's called other people's money to buy those assets. But make sure that there's enough meat on the bones that don't buy nothing new. That's all I'm saying. Buy something that's depreciating and has opportunity in it, so you could build wealth. That's how rich people build wealth.
Well, I want to talk about something I know you love. I see all the time on your social media accounts. What's with the Legends and the Acura and the other, interesting BMWs? I mean, that's I like that stuff too. So tell me, what's your passion about that?
Yeah, I've always been a car guy. I mean, I used to caddy. So I caddied actually for Trump back in the days. And ever since I was young, hip hop, I was driven by hip hop. And I think I see my, Ralph Lauren and the Legends and all that stuff. Like the Legend alone, I'm a big fan of just Japanese culture. And I think the Japanese culture and their industry are perfectionists. And when they created the Legend, I mean, the name alone is just crazy, But why is it a Legend, right? That 30-year-old car outside has heated seats. It has, it has defogged mirrors. It's 30 years old. I mean, it has wishbone suspension. So I had all these even a straight line six just to balance the vehicle. The hood is low. I mean, every facet of this car is just precision, right? It's precision. The way that it was made, car driver, it just broke all records, destroyed BMW. It was just one of the most prestigious car at the time. It's iconic, is what I'm saying. And at the time, I grew up in the hood, man. I grew up where DMX, and I grew up in School Street in Yonkers, very tough block. And I was caddying, and I had a really good job. I was making good money, and I saw the car and in an ad. I still have the clipping, and it was in Queens, and it was a very rare indigo blue pearl, a 4-door sedan, beautiful car. I mean, when I saw it, I was like, man, how am I going to afford this car? But I made it happen. Got my credit together. I literally had what today is called like what do you call that when you put the collage together? So I basically had everything written down, my wish list and what I needed to do.
You call that a vision board?
Vision board. So I had kind of like a vision board, but it was written down at that age. I was in high school when I got that car. So I wrote everything out. I said, I got it. This is my down payment. This is what I got. I had to do it within 2 weeks. I put a $500 deposit. I took the bus and the train to Queens, to the dealership, gave him $500. And listen, I was like, what? I was in my teens. But I always listened to the conversations that people had on the golf course. These are all Jewish golf course, business owners, things of that. They had a lot of influence on me. And I like the clothes that they wear. And, going back to the hood to like I would say like a 600 square foot one bedroom studio that was dilapidated. Crackheads in the hallway. It was tough coming back to that. So buying, going to Lord and Taylor and buying a couple pieces of polo, it gave me this like a little glimpse of what it could be like feeling like I'm rich, just a little bit. But when I got that Legend, the Legend itself was the hood Lamborghini. That's what they called it, right? If if you had a Legend back in the days, you were either a drug dealer or something, or a business owner. And I was neither, but I was in between, and I was very proud of it. I was very proud of the vehicle. I mean, I would park it right. I mean, it was the only like hot looking luxury car on the street. You know what I mean? All these other putts on the street, and they got a Legend just sitting in front of like this the project, stuff like that. So very proud of it.
Interesting.
On all facets. I'm a car lover. Always been a car lover. And then around 18, 19 years old, on that same block, I opened up my first car customizing shop. I was doing systems and things of that nature. And ever since then, I would buy, sell cars, just mess around, mod them. I used to do airbrushing. I'm an artist at heart. I used to airbrush motorcycles, helmets, things of that nature. And that's how the Legend came about. Second year into the Legend, the head gasket blew. I sold the car for pennies on the dollar, regretted it. And then I finally got my black one like about 3 years ago. I always said, you know what? I'm going to work hard. And my dream cars, those Legends are very, nostalgic, and they bring me back to my roots. So I was, pretty fortunate to buy two of them. So I bought the black sedan, and I bought the red one.
My
And
my
they
buddy had a black
yeah,
one, and those, if I'm right, I think they really were out before the Infinities and the what's the
yeah,
Nissan one, and the Acura. They were out. I mean, before the Toyota and the what's the luxury of the Toyota Lexus. They were out
right.
before Lexus and Infinity. They were
They
just
had the buggy
before, right?
eyes.
So that kind of
They were the buggy eye Lexuses. Yeah, yeah. They had the big brown lights, two of them. But
yeah.
those are beautiful cars as well. I had one of those too. I mean, I've had some serious cars over the times. I've had Porsches. I've had dozens of BMWs. Right now, I'm sitting on six cars. I have six. It's an addiction, but also like it's also kind of like a reminder of like it's all the toys that I couldn't have when I was young, and it makes me feel good. It has nothing to do with trying to make other show off or anything. I just like looking at them. I like working on my kids work on them. I take them to car shows, and believe it or not, it's a conversation piece. Um, don't let it fool you. Like those cars right there have got me so much business. It's not even funny.
Sure. I
And
had a 1969 baby blue Benz 280 SL. It was
oh
something.
yeah,
We
the
had
box.
and I heard the it was called a pagoda based on the top, like a Japanese pagoda. And then naturally my girls came, and then we had a regular, minivan. It was a tough day, but we needed the car. Listen, I'm sure I got ripped off on that deal because I called Southampton and I told them I wanted what I bought it for. Imagine he was at my house from Southampton with a bank check and a flatbed in 2 hours. So the guy must have licked his chops. He had to kill me on the deal, and I just, I
Believe
needed
it or
that.
not, I just came from a car show. I did
You went to Greenwich, I saw.
the D Elegance, yeah, like the
Right.
type of style, and they had that
Mhm.
car there, and that car is probably easily worth like about 60 grand.
Oh
Now,
yeah, I heard the demand is crazy. Yeah, they are. They're all over.
probably even more if you had that rare color and you had that
The
roof
rare
roof.
color. And listen, some of these guys at these car shows, they would be with a toothbrush cleaning out the treads. Meanwhile, I barely even
That would be
Windexed
me.
it.
That would be me.
It was something. Yeah, they
I
couldn't. They
like
were meant to me.
you're like crazy about these cars. It's like, I don't know what it is. Like I said, it has to do with growing up in the hood and just not having the things that I could afford. You know what I mean? Um, you know, I had an alcoholic dad. My mother tried her best to try to give. Thankfully I went to Catholic school. They busted their asses, but I've always worked since a young kid. I had the cleaning the banks with my mom and dad. landscaping on weekends for rich people, babysitting their kids. So we started from very humble beginnings, but we were working class, and that's the thing that they instilled in me, is that, very hard worker, passionate about what I do, and just outwork anybody, and it shows because I don't really market a lot, but my referral game is like, there's so many people that they want to work with me, and I turn down work. Let's just say that. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
That's great. Well, I mean, Roger, I'm really glad we had a chance to start with you. I think the best use of this PlugIntro interview series is to share with your key referral partners and clients and contacts and anyone like that. So, we'll work with you to do that. We'll build this out. I guarantee someone with your knowledge and credibility will help so many people really meet who they should know. And that's the point here. I mean, that really is a way that we can positively affect others and meet people we never would have met. It's powerful.
I agree.
So what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so if you want to get in touch with me, the name right here, right below, that's my Instagram, Chino Lens. For the realtors who want to check out my work, it'll be virtually sold NJ, also on Instagram, or it'll be Roger Chino Cordoba on Facebook. Please follow me, reach out to me. I'm an open book. Whatever you guys want to ask me, you can ask me. And once again, you guys need headshots, you need videos, whatever you guys need, let me know. I don't charge a lot because I'm very competitive, and it's not about making that upfront money. It's about building relationships, just like PlugIntro does.